Stuart Rosenblum.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
I was talking to you yesterday on a different subject, but you brought up something really interesting and something that I've thought about, but you've never talked about, and that is this. If you have 10 years, 20 years left on your mortgage and you refinance, then you go right back to 30 years again. So you're back to where you started paying off the other 30-year mortgage.
Well, that happens very often, but you can always prepay it without a penalty.
Right.
Many times people get into situations where they have a lot of debt and they want to go ahead and improve their cash flow so they consolidate the debt. They go for a 30-year and then they prepay it in a 10-year term. So it's about a 0.5% interest differential between a 15-year or a 10-year and a 30-year. So they take the 30-year, they pay the extra 0.5%, and they pay the extra money to be done in that 10-year period. And just in case they get into a bind, they can always revert back to the 30-year.
Right.
And it makes life a little bit more comfortable.
How much of that is wishful thinking? Because when you have the money, do I really want to pay down my debt, or do I really want to go and buy this new big screen TV?
People do it. We do have a customer that we did the reverse to. They had 27 years left. We consolidated the debt, gave them a 15-year loan, and their payments went down $150 a month. So every situation is different.
Right.
And it really depends on your particular scenario, what your cash flow is in order to do what you want to do.
What do you tell people when they talk about, because you can get a 30-year, you can get a 20-year, right? And a 15-year. So what do you tell, how do you counsel people?
You can get any term. You can get a 7-year. You can get a 14-year. You can get a 28-year loan. You can get any kind of term that you want.
Huh.
The interest rate,
that.
interest rate differential between a 30 and a 25 is none. So the rate's the same. And then a 20-year, you get about 0.25%. A 15-year, about 0.5%. And
more.
Lower on the interest rate.
Oh, lower.
The shorter the term, the lower the rate.
Oh.
So it's really going to depend on individual financial obligations that a person's going to have.
Right.
Today, we're no longer necessarily living in the world where everybody wants to pay off their mortgage right away as soon as possible. I think quality of life definitely plays in those decisions.
Right.
But when you have the opportunity to make the lower payments, you may go ahead and do it. If I have a customer that comes in and, there's no difference to him financially whether he's going to pay a 15-year rate note or if he's going to pay a 30-year, then obviously I'm going to push him. But if I talk to him and I sense, that 15-year payment is kind of tight,
right?
Then I'm going to go ahead and tell him maybe a 20-year, maybe a 30-year. Let's look at all three numbers.
Right.
Now, very, very often, especially with today's world where debt, mortgage rates or first mortgages are the only interest that's tax deductible anymore.
Right.
Home equity lines of credit are no longer tax deductible, the interest you pay on those.
Right.
Which is very interesting because, I wonder if...
No, stop. Don't go there.
I'm
Don't
going
go
there. I wonder if he knew that there's going to be a tax deduction. Okay. So hopefully our listeners know what I'm talking about over here. But
yes, when you take out a home equity line of credit, be very careful who you're paying off and what you're paying off because it's no longer tax deductible.
Right.
Yes.
So the interest is no longer tax deductible, and credit card interest rates are no longer tax deductible. Next week, the Federal Reserve is meeting, and they're poised to go ahead and raise those interest rates.
Right.
Which the first vehicles to get affected are the home equity lines and
second mortgages.
Second mortgages. They're all the same home equity lines and credit card debt. So now all of a sudden you're going to see these numbers pop up, and you don't get any tax benefit. So if you have 5% on a home equity line, even if you got this last year or 5 years ago, it's no longer going to become tax deductible.
That's important to know. It was a low 2 years ago, but it's going up now. It's not locked in.
Right, and most of those home equity lines, they're interest only. There's no principal being paid. I had a customer that was paying on it for 15 years almost, and all of a sudden he didn't know it became due, and he got a letter in the bank that all of a sudden they're amortizing his remaining schedule at 12%, no tax deduction on the interest.
Right.
You're in trouble, and the balance was the same exact balance as what he had pretty much when he started.
You're known as the no-fee guy, the bagel loan. Google the bagel loan. You'll get Stuart's phone number. But these 15-year mortgages, these 20-year mortgages, still no fees?
Still no fees. And the beauty of it is, especially if you're going to consolidate your home equity loan and other debt, you very often can reduce the remaining term you have. So aside from getting a fixed interest rate, aside from getting the tax benefit, and aside from getting a lower rate than what you had previously on those debts,
right,
you now can shorten the term, and we're talking about saving tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's a really, really big deal. Remember, when you have a mortgage or you have these debts, you pay interest first. It's not evenly divided every month.
Right.
So when you reduce that term, the principal is getting paid off quicker.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why he's the best. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Stewart'sAMC.com. And if you have any questions, Google the bagel loan, and his number will pop up. Good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
831.